That one's not even touching the windscreen. That is genius. Oh dear, quality boats. Oh well, I can navigate through that little cheese triangle we've got there. Right, shall we, ready when you are, mate, if you want?
Yeah, we've been rolling this whole time.
Oh, okay, right, so, I'm guessing I don't need to clap. Okay. So we're back in the warm because it was freezing in Bembridge Marina, but beautiful. We are now traversing the Solent to try and get back in time while we've still got the light. And you'll see it's getting a bit windy. That's what it is, and I love this sort of thing, so it doesn't matter. We're in a cabin, so who cares? Anyway, I'm bimbling about sailing. Right, so this section is about something called FinOps. Now, it stands for financial operations. I am no expert in this field, and it is a relatively new field. And it basically is all about making sure you've got processes and information and roles and responsibilities to deliver efficient cloud usage. So if you think about what I said previously, you've got a consumption-based model, you pay for what you use, and so that gives you quite a lot of complexity to manage if you are a procurement person, but also if you're an IT person, if you're a finance person. And so what FinOps is really all about is creating a team of people who operate in a way that, as a unit, so they're responsive to changes in what's going on. And if you think about it, it's really simple form. And like I say, it's probably worthwhile a bit more detail if you're going to start doing this. If you had a team, a working team of a finance person, so their job is to look at invoices and make sure invoices are paid on time and forecast financial budgets and all those sorts of things. A procurement person, so their job is to understand how services are paid for and what, sorry, my chair's moving, how services are paid for and what the costs are likely to be, and making sure the contracts are delivered in a way that commercially works. And an IT person, and their job is to really understand how they're going to use the services. Now, normally they're three different departments, don't really talk to each other particularly well, and you can end up in a bit of a funny situation where, you know, the three different departments aren't talking, and therefore costs can overrun. The financial guys don't pay the invoices, it all gets a bit messy. So FinOps is really all about creating a team and roles and responsibilities with those three, potentially others, but those three main functions represented. So regularly they get together and talk about what's going on in the world of cloud. And if you do that correctly, actually you can be quite clever. So if your IT person knows at the start of every week that they are going to use 100 units of IT, the procurement person could look at the contract and say, okay, so if we're buying 100 units this week, I can get the best possible price for that 100 units by doing this, you know, whatever the commercial construct is. And the finance person can forecast it and say, yeah, okay, we know we're going to get a bill for 100 units this week, and therefore the budget needs to reflect that. The next week, the IT person can say, I'm only going to do 10 units this week. Procurement person says, right, okay, well, we'll scale back our billing to make sure that we've agreed with the supplier we're only buying 10 units. The finance person budgets for 10 units, and it's a perfectly interlocked triangle of loveliness. Now, most people will know, especially in the procurement world, that triangle of loveliness doesn't exist particularly well in normal IT. But if you do get that level of maturity in your organization, putting in place FinOps processes allows you to respond to different IT requirements, different IT situations, and work with your suppliers and work with your finance department and work with anyone else who's part of that FinOps function to pay the least amount of money. The other thing it gives you is the ability to buy what you need. So, 9 times out of 10, in the good old days, you'd buy a server that's massive and you'd only use a bit of it every now and again. In the world of cloud, you've got a different construct. You can buy what you need. So you can go out and say, right, I want a 50 unit server and I'm going to need that for 3 weeks. And then at the end of that 3 weeks, I'm going to downscale it to 25 units. But then it's coming up for Christmas and we've got lots of people logging onto our website. So I'm going to need 2,000 units 3 weeks later. So it's all those things coming together to buy consumption-based modeling, but being really clear about whose job it is to do that forecasting, to put in place the right supplier constructs, and make sure that the money's available in the bank to do that. Fundamentally, that is FinOps. There is a whole industry that can do a better job of defining what FinOps is, but in its simplest form, it's a really good thing to do. And even if you don't do all the theoretical academic FinOps processes in its, out of the textbook, just building sensible relationships between IT, finance, and procurement for cloud computing is really important, because it just gives you the ability to be a bit more sensible about knowing what's going to happen, working with your supplier in a very reactive sort of environment, to be a bit more proactive and be a bit more clever about forecasting consumption and then variable billing in the context of that. I'm not going to go into any more depth on FinOps. Hopefully that gives you enough of a high-level overview. If you want more information, please do get in touch and I will make sure I articulate in a slightly longer video. Or Google it, do what everyone else does. There's a lot of information on the web. It's a fairly new field, and I think you've got to look at things like tooling and processes and roles and responsibilities and accountability. But fundamentally, the high level is it's just sensible. Get involved if you're buying cloud computing.